Video 5, the physical factor. On your home screen in the Cycle of Analysis app, you'll see it bottom right in green. And we have our 3 areas: physical skills, physical fitness, physical tactics. If we click on red, for skills again, we have our Cycle of Analysis process for each of those 3 physical factor areas. So let's go into skills. Impacting on performance, we've got accuracy, control, timing and consistency. Again, we'll pop into control here. Again, a video exemplification showcasing what control looks like in a performance context. You'll also notice again under the video there, we've got a clear definition and we have our FACI structure of factor, activity, context and impact, just again to exemplify what quality control means and how it impacts on performance, and what poor control means and how it impacts negatively on performance. So again, the video paints a very clear picture of what quality control is in terms of controlling the body, controlling movements, having quality rhythm, having quality timing, and just ensuring in this context that your sequence is refined from start to finish on the floor. So going into data collection for physical skills, again, we've got our model performance video comparison there, and we've also got our observation schedule. And I've actually popped in 4 different sessions for observation schedules here, just to show you the chronology and how we can start to evaluate and compare our performance as we develop and improve over the process of a PDP. So if we think about how we use an observation schedule, again, bottom right there, the plus icon. Observation date, we'll just use today's date there. Observation title, let's just go with gymnastics floor. And again, in terms of using the observation schedule, you could either do this retrospectively with a video your performance, and then go through the video and identify what factors are going well for you and what factors you need to work on in terms of physical skills. Or you could sit down straight after the performance and look to go through the observation schedule yourself or with a peer, provided you trust that peer and they've got the knowledge and the skill set to undertake the observation schedule effectively. So what you can see here, we're observing over 3 different performances, because if we just go over one, of course, that might limit the reliability and the rigour and the validity of what you're trying to gather. We want to eliminate the luck factor or one great performance or one poor performance. So we're observing over 3 different performances here. We've got our 4 different criteria questions. So does the performer perform with accuracy using a range of skills and techniques? Can we use control effectively to improve performance? Do we display effective timing? And do we perform skills to a high standard consistently? And again, it's just about taking the time to reflect, either with a peer or with yourself, or indeed using video as part of your observation schedule to fill these out as accurately and as consistently as you possibly can. And again, what this is going to do is it's going to create a picture of where we are at in terms of sub-factors for physical skills. So we can see here for session 5, the one I've just completed, I've completed all 3 performances. We can see that in the red circles there. And it's highlighted that my accuracy is 3 out of 3, very, very strong. My control is 2 out of 3. My consistency is 3 out of 3, again, excellent. But you'll see there that my timing of performance, my timing of skills, my timing of movements is a 0 out of 3. So that clearly highlights to me that timing is something that I need to work on as part of my PDP. Now, because we can revisit this at any point as part of monitoring and evaluating, it creates a clear chronology of how we're developing and how we're improving over a set number of periods or weeks or throughout a term. So to go into our approaches here for skill performance, Again, in discussion with over 70 PE departments, these are the 4 most consistently used approaches to develop skill performance. So we have repetition training, gradual build-up, combination training and pressure training. Again, I'll just pop into one of these to exemplify it. So we have our combination training video. This is in a badminton context here. Again, just paints a very clear picture of how a pupil might set up an approach and undertake an approach to make sure the quality is good and they're developing what they want to develop here. So we can see the 2 individuals in the video are looking at a combination practice in badminton. It's a high serve, it's a clear, it's a drop, it's a lift, it's a clear, it's a drop, it's a lift, and that combination continues for the duration of the video. Again, as part of any approach video, we've got benefits, we've got limitations, so that pupils can really start to think critically about what's good or bad or indifferent about that approach that they're using. Again, when it comes to monitoring and evaluating, they've got 3 options here, so they can look at their skilled training diary. Again, developing this idea of being analytical, being evaluative. Let's really tap into the fine detail. What do I need to do to improve further? Revisiting your model performance video comparison and revisiting your observation schedule. And if we just click on that, you'll see that all your observation schedules remain live there, and you can cross compare, you can refer back to, you can set new targets depending on how you're developing and improving. So that's physical skills. Okay, for physical fitness then. So again, cycle of analysis there takes place. We're going to click on factors impacting on performance. We've got cardio, we've got agility, speed, and power. So again, we're just going to pop into agility here. Again, a very clear definition of what agility means in a physical education context, with positive impacts going through FACI and negative impacts going through FACI. So again, factor, activity, context, and impact here. So this video asks us to look at the player wearing the red number 8 bib. And again, what we're looking to showcase is, this is agility, changing direction quickly and precisely under control. Into our data collection methods, I'm going to click on fitness testing just because it's a little bit different for us here in comparison to what we've looked at before. What we have here again, we've got our baseline fitness testing that you would complete at the outset. We then have our midpoint that you might do after week 3, week 4, week 5 of a training program just to check for improvements. And we've got our final testing as well for our overall evaluation. What am I like now in comparison to what I was like at the midpoint or at the start? Again, exemplification video here of the Illinois agility test in terms of how we set it up, in terms of how we undertake the test. It's a maximal effort, it's your very, very quickest attempt. We've got an observer there, timing, making sure that we're sticking to the conditions of the test, and we're starting and stopping the watch at the exact same time. So again, if we want to just input some data here, so if we have a battery of fitness tests, bleep test for CRE, Illinois for agility, 30 metre sprint test for speed, and standing broad jump for power. What you'll see here is, again, background coding will allow us to come to a conclusion against standardised norms. So if an athlete, for example, or a pupil, should I say, gets 13.1 for the bleep test, then they are excellent against their comparator groups. If they score 10, then they're very good. Of course, if they're down towards maybe level 5, then that would be poor in comparison to their comparator group. Illinois agility test, exact same. So for 17.1 for the Illinois, we're very good. If we're 22, we're poor. And again, that background coding just makes it absolutely seamless. We don't need to go and cross-check against other textbooks or internet searches. It's all built in. The background coding clearly identifies if we're good, bad, or indifferent. So it really very easily allows us to identify our area of development in relation to physical fitness. In terms of approaches, we've got fartlek, interval, circuit, and plyometric. I'm just going to select fartlek here. So again, we're saying watch the video and consider the many benefits and limitations of using this approach. This is just an adapted version of fartlek that I've created here. So red is jog, yellow is run, green is sprint. But of course, we know with fartlek we can add in an equipment piece or a ball just to make it even more game specific. So as opposed to just a jog for red, we've got a reverse dribble keeping control of the ball. Green's a full sprint, fast-paced dribble. And yellow, as we say, is a half-pace run. And it just creates this idea of game pace, but developing skill as well as the movements of the game. Again, benefits and limitations there, clearly exemplified. In terms of monitoring and evaluating, again, we can pop into our fitness training diaries. Again, it's all there for us. So we pop in our performance date, our performance name, how did training go today? How do I think I'm performing and developing in relation to CRE, agility, speed or power? What needs more work? What do I need to do to change, and what are my targets for next session? So pupils are being evaluative, they're thinking about what's going well, they're considering what they need to improve on, and they're setting very, very clear targets. Again, with our training diaries, they're all saved, they're all logged, creates a clear chronology, and pupils can refer back to and measure their progress very, very simply, very, very clearly. So that's physical fitness. Finally, we have physical tactics. So again, our cycle of analysis there, factors impacting on performance, formation depth, communication, time of performance. And again, clear definition, positive impact, negative impact in relation to FACI, factor, activity, context and impact. Data collection methods here. Again, we've got our model performance, video comparison, and we've got our opponent analysis. So this allows us to think tactically. So we're going to pop in our sport, or activity alongside our date, of course. We're going to identify the strengths of our opponents. There might be one of two of those, and we're going to identify a potential weakness to exploit. So we're getting our pupils to think tactically. What's good about our opponents, but what could we try and isolate or exploit in terms of their weakness or their area of development. Approaches to develop tactical performance. We've got passive or active training here, and we've got conditioned games. So again, just a little exemplar. Again, we're in a basketball context here, so we're just looking at an outlet pass. And it's a passive defender. The attacker dribbles to their strong side and hits a layup inside the key. Again, just paints a very clear picture to our pupils. This is the type of training we could develop and use to improve our tactical factor. Again, benefits and limitations clearly defined so that pupils have a very clear understanding of why you would use that particular approach. When it comes to monitoring and evaluating performance, again, we can visit our training diary, we can revisit our model performer video comparison, and we can revisit our opponent analysis as well at any point. Again, completely saved, creates a chronology, allows us to track, monitor, and set targets moving forward. And just finally, folks, we're back to our home screen now. So we've been through the cycle of analysis for one factor, or indeed it might be 2, 3, or indeed all 4 factors. So we're clicking on our central area there, which is my development plan, my personal development plan, and we're looking to summarise what your cycle of analysis journey has been like. So for the mental factors, methods I have used to collect my data, approaches I have used in my development plan, the length of each session, how many sessions I did per week, who I trained with, and methods that I used to monitor and evaluate my progress. Now that's really important, of course, particularly for the National 5 portfolio, because you will have to create and provide an overview of what you've done for your training program. So this effectively does that for you. Now what you can do, of course, is you can save it onto the app, but you can also choose to share it. Again, that will allow you to share with your teacher either through email or Google Classroom, or potentially Microsoft Teams, whatever platform you use in terms of pupil-teacher dialogue online. All right, so again, personal development plan allows us to provide a clear overview of what you've done for your tailored specific PDP. And then just finally, the menu top left there, everyone. That again just gives easy access to each of the areas of the app rather than clicking on the tiles. We've just got a menu down the left hand side there. So for example, you can click on your diaries and that gives you a clear breakdown of every single diary. Now we know there could be 6 diaries potentially because physical fitness, physical skills and physical tactics could potentially have a diary each on their own. So those are our diaries. That's how we access nice and easily without having to go through each of your factor tiles. All right, so that's your final menu on the left-hand side there. Many thanks for watching the tutorials, folks. I hope you find them useful. Can't wait to hear some feedback on the app. I hope you enjoy it. Just to go back to what I said on video number 1, I want to hear your feedback. It's really, really important that we have that dialogue, we have that discussion so we can improve people experience moving forward. Thanks, everyone.